All right, YouTube. We got my personal record arm wrestling table here. This comes in this box. It's pretty heavy. It probably weighs like 100 pounds, if not more. So we'll be opening this up soon. All right, so you see here, so this big box, this one comes in that. So well, that's pretty neat because this was kind of beat up. All right, so once you open the box, everything looks pretty neat and wrapped. It does say it weighs 43 kilograms gross weight. So it's about like, I don't know, close to 100 pounds. So, all right, so I got everything out of the box. You got your base, you got your forward posts. You should have your centering pads and your pinning pads there. Mine, all the little wrap that this came within was all messed up, so I got everything pretty much just in the box. So far, it looks like I might be missing a washer. I already checked the box, so hopefully it's in here somewhere. These are all over the place, so got the tabletop right here. This thing's pretty heavy, so I'm gonna put it together. All right, guys, so what I'm doing right here is I'm putting it upside down. I'm screwing in these posts first. And what I noticed was there's only 4 of these washers, and it makes no sense to put these anywhere else other than underneath here. So couldn't find the manual online, so I'm just gonna put these in right here for now, and we'll see how it holds up. All right, so you see that thread's in there. So I'm doing this one-handed, but it makes no other sense, any other sense but here. So, all right, guys. So next step you want to do is take the bottom frame and obviously upside down with little pieces right here for whatever support stuff. Here's where you want to take, there's 4 of these bolts and 4 of these lock washers. I'm guessing you use obviously these, and then you put them through, and then you got your Allen wrench that it comes with, and you want to tighten them up. All right, so these posts aren't very squared, so it might take a little bit of effort, like right here. I'm gonna have to pull this apart and then put the bolt in. I'm thinking the other washer did go in here, but so right now it doesn't matter. I left it underneath there. It's not gonna make a huge difference. All right, so it should look like this, upside down when you're assembling it. Huge tip is don't tighten everything all the way, including these. Wait till this very last step, and including these bolts too. Don't tighten them yet. I'm gonna go around and tighten these by hand, like twist them as hard as I can, and then I'm gonna do the bolts. All right, so now once you have that all tight, you got the post tight, you got the locking washers, or the bolts here, hex bolts, tight on. You don't want to go too crazy, so obviously if you have common sense. So what I did was I snugged it all the way, and then I just went like a quarter of a turn more. You can fuck up the threads that way if you go too tight. The lock washers, they're meant to not unloosen. So once you have it, snug, a little bit more, give it a little bit more, it's not gonna come apart. So it's a tip. All right, guys, so you can see right here, it's already a problem. It's not squared or leveled. So those little bottom pieces that are used for support, so scratch resistant, whatever little things, they do screw down, so you can adjust them. So obviously if you have a level, good for you. Me, I'm not gonna go get a level, but I think just by loosening this one up a little bit, is pretty much almost leveled, so where it's not teeter-tottering. And there we go. All right, so what? Turn this other light. All right, whatever. Well, anyways, before you completely put it together, whatever, I went around and I checked everything, make sure there was no rips on the table or anything. And obviously you want to inspect the frame too, make sure there's no dents, make sure you don't have missing bolts, because if you're not too familiar with, you know, bolt size, this and that, you are gonna struggle finding them in case you're missing like 2 of the same ones, you know, or all 4 of them. So make sure you have all the parts. All right, so when you put the handles here, whoops, there we go. They do come with this little piece here. The looks of it, it looks like it goes on like this. I mean, you could put it on like this, but then you got the sharp edge right here. So I'm guessing it goes like this, and it makes more sense. Also, the bolt and the washers, you should put the big flat washer first and then the locking washer. So it should go in like this from the bottom. And there's a hole cut out here, which, let's see if I can get it in there. There we go. All right. So there's another Allen wrench that should come for the other bolt size, which are a little smaller than the leg bolt size. So make sure that comes with it. All right, so huge tip for when putting these handles on. Try not to twist this part because you don't want to rip the leather here, and it will rip. You can already see from the hole there that this was just punched out. So, you know, hopefully it doesn't start ripping around here once you put the handles on, but it shouldn't. So be careful with that. Try holding onto this. If you need help, just get assistance, and then somebody can turn this wrench. And then while you hold this, if you need to, with both hands, because the threads are kind of tight on this. All right, so now if you're wondering, earlier I said tighten this by hand. I realized the wrench does come with it. And at the bottom of the hole here, there's a welded nut on, which obviously the bolt from the bottom up goes into. But you use this to tighten that, which makes sense. But try to be careful too, because you don't want to break that nut off the welds, which a lot of these welds seem pretty fragile. Or they don't seem fragile, but again, they're not like heavy duty welds. You know, they're just tiny little welds for this type of design here. So a little tip there. Also too, I didn't mention it, but you should inspect your pads too to make sure there's no rips and everything looks good. You know, they should have 2 pins on each side. So make sure your holes kind of make sense. Obviously, you know, you want to be able to put your holes in, or your pads in. Make sure they line up with the holes. Make sure both sides, all of them, you know, because if they don't line up, then you're screwed. You won't be able to use your pads. All right, guys, so when you're done, it should look just like this. And make sure to inspect it. Everything looks good. Make sure you adjust your legs so it doesn't teeter-totter. Table looks awesome. Like, I'm glad I bought it with the sale going on and using my code. You got 40% off. I think it came out to like $389, originally like almost $600, you know. I think it was $599. I almost bought it. And then I saw Larry was putting a Black Friday deal, and I'm super glad I waited because I saved probably like, you know, almost over $200, I think. So this is it. If anybody's looking to get it for practice, for anything, just to compete around, you know, pull with the guys, this thing is awesome. Hopefully I can get some people to pull with, or, you know, I'm using this more for practice, so for me it's not a big deal, but this thing's awesome. See the table. thing is super nice. Flip the pads around pretty quick. Some of the tables you gotta unscrew from the bottom. Yeah.